Are you gonna press record, Kit?
It's press.
Alright.
So let's go. Just use it in case you're not.
Yeah, of course.
Come around. Just come up, please.
Yeah, we had some challenge matches. I get super fights, as we call it. Super fights. So it was technically my first comp match in Jiu-Jitsu ever.
Right.
Was today.
Yeah.
And it felt very different. Because I was like, when you think about it, it's like I do Jiu-Jitsu in this environment every day.
Mm-hmm.
From like almost every day. So how could just framing it as a match make it so different from when I'm just rolling?
Right.
And I've rolled Alex before, multiple times. But it was different. It felt very different. It felt different when I was looking at him. It felt different when Juan told me to step backwards before we fight.
Because that was totally different from what you used to.
It was totally different from what I was used to, where I just walk up to like Alex, you know, ask him how his day was, we sit down and we go. And then Juan would just like step backwards.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, oh shit, okay.
Shit.
And then that changed things. And I looked over at James, and James was like looking at me, and I was like, are you good? I was like asking James if he was good. Like, because I want to know if like my coach is also like good to like if we're like going. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then it like probably clicked in my head too late, a little too late. I'm just like, okay, this is real. Like, this is very real. This is not like a...
It's not real. You're standing up for one.
Yeah,
right?
I'm
You're standing up for one, both of you. Because most times when we're rolling, we're not standing up. We're usually tired.
Yeah.
Someone's like, oh, no,
Yeah. And I was tired too, because we did four rounds before.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. Like I think that's a very good, especially with grappling industries or like any kind of round tournament, which is I think what you're planning to do it, right?
Yes.
You know, you find yourself deep into the tournament where it's your third or fourth match, before it's even like a qualifying round, and you're gassed out, you're tired, and you have this sensory overload of not only like your body just like being exhausted, but you know, you still have like all these people around you yelling and like shouting, and you're also trying to dial into your coach while keeping your mind focused on like your opponent and the score and the time.
Yeah.
You know, like I love those kinds of scenarios in the gym, because the more you get used to that, the more forged you are for the actual real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, like how did that make you feel afterwards? Like we were talking about it before.
Yeah.
After the match, and
the 2 minutes after was like, I was like, this sucks. Like,
Why?
This is not good. Because I knew I had it. That was like the main thing, where I was like, I knew I almost had his back.
Right.
And I knew for a fact if I had his back, I would finish him.
right.
And I also had that other moment where I like let go of a straight ankle lock.
Yeah.
And then it was just running in my mind. It was just like, I had it. I could have done it. But then it's like, it's all shoulda, woulda, couldas, which is ultimately like not productive. But also you flip it around like it is productive. Where I was just like, I know I had it, so next time I'll get it.
100%. It goes into like what's good, what's bad. It doesn't matter if you look at it from a bird's eye view. Then it's all continually good. You can use it as being productive.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like it's almost like you said, it's almost no good or bad. It's just like walking a middle path.
Damn fucking right.
The other good thing about that too is like better happen in the gym than out
in
the real thing. I think, you know, of course it's like, you know, that initial kind of exposure to those kind of emotions, obviously.
Yeah.
Better in your comfort zone, right?
No one cares that I lost to Alex at 9 a.m. in the morning at Clockwork Jiu-Jitsu on Saturday class.
You did it until 9:02.
Yeah, I did until 9:02. And also, even then, no one cares if I lost in the grappling industries at Monroe Township, New Jersey.
Dude, like, that's another important thing. Like, unless it's like a high level black belt match in like IBJJF that's on flow grappling,
Right.
no one cares.
No one cares at all.
Like, no one is gonna harp on that. Not even the guy who won
Mhm.
or his coaches are gonna be like, man, that guy was horrible, or like, I won, that was so good. Yeah, he's gonna focus on the exact the immediate next match.
Right.
You know, all people who are watching are gonna be like, all right, that was cool, and they're just gonna focus on whatever else is in front of them.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
for no-name jiu-jitsu guys like us, and you know, the great majority of the people who do it, no one cares, dude.
I mean, I'd go even further, like saying no one cares. I actually used to say that when I first got into jiu-jitsu. You were talking about this the other day. You see someone wearing stripes, and you're like, oh my god, he's got 3 stripes. He's a white belt with 3 stripes. I'm gonna take his fucking head out. And you get excited about the concept of completely dominating someone that has a hierarchy of it better than you, right? And then you'd be like, well, I did it today. You tell people, everyone's like, wait, what did you do?
Yeah.
I got ahead and I got ahead and with a 3-strip white belt. And everyone's
Well,
like,
that's nice.
and everyone's like, okay. you wear specialist pajamas and you fight each other in a very, very strict rules-based sport. But I actually took the concept of no one cares. I used to tell it to myself. I'd be looking around the room and I'm like, no one fucking cares. I said, no one cares. Because it's from skateboarding, because you skate, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the same thing, I then took it, which is something we've been talking about, taking everything from jiu-jitsu and taking it and applying it to life. One of the things that nobody fucking cares is there was even ways that I was skating that I was like, oh, James just tried a frontside flip. I can't do a frontside flip because then he's going to think I'm a dick.
Yeah.
Or James was. James tries a frontside flip, doesn't land it. I know I can do it. I can't do it now because it's going to make him feel like a dick.
Right,
Down to like, shit, James has got cool shoes. Mate, it was so much ego that like during COVID, obviously doing jits, still skating, they were just playing off each other so much that I actually had to say to myself, on the mat, nobody fucking cares. Like as I was rolling.
Yeah.
And then go for stuff. Go for moves that I didn't think I could do, or try and get out, or tap, right? I said, no one cares, just tap, don't hold the tap. And then when I went skating, did the same thing. I'm like, no one fucking cares.
Because there's a...
And I actually got down, and as soon as I did it, I was doing switch tray flips, nollie tray flips, tricks I've never done before. And I had to tell myself, nobody cares. And no one's watching me, and even if they are, they're dealing with their own demons. And I could feel the skateboard change differently under my feet. Like instead of me being like, oh, I have to look cool to do a trick, instead I was like, oh shit, if I load up my foot in the pocket, it's about to pop nollie 360, and it's like I have to like almost let it go.
It's freeing. Right?
It's freeing.
Practicing a healthy amount of nihilism and a healthy amount of absurdism.
Okay.
Because we're talking about... have you read The Myth of Sisyphus?
No.
By Albert Camus.
Tell me.
So Sisyphus, we all knew, Greek legend of the man who rolls the boulder up the hill
Yeah.
and is cursed to have it falls down and then he goes back down and like roll it up again.
Yeah.
And it's like, alright, extrapolate anything you do in life,
Mm-hmm.
that is exactly what you're doing.
Sisyphean task.
Yet you are doing the same shit over and over again. And it's up to you to make, it's up to you to find the happiness out of that.
100%.
Yeah.
I now say that, I say a couple of things. One of them is do the fucking move. Do the move is the concept of, if James is teaching me something in class, don't think that I know better. Don't think like, oh, I could actually snap an arm bar from here. When the thing is like a one-armed Americana, or whatever it is.
Right.
Do the fucking move. Or like, if you're doing this, you should shove both knees and then you should go for the underhook on the opposite side.
Right.
And you're like, no, I think I'll just smash with my shoulder. Do the fucking move. And then that's with everything. Like any yoga, anything, don't think you know better because it's all about ego. Like, I'll smash that dude. They're telling everyone else how to do this choke. I can do it better because he has to do it. He has to do it. And then the other one is everything is dental work. Like you just have to. It's the Sisyphean task. If anything, brush your teeth. Why? I don't care. But we have to because when you eat, you fall out.
Because also, there's the flip side to nihilism where you can be like nobody cares. That's beautiful. That's awesome. But also, nobody cares, so I do anything, and that's just boring. It's just like so boring.
Right.
That's the lesson you're taking out of nihilism, where you're relying on the fact that nobody else. If you're saying nobody else cares, then why do anything? That's you only doing things because you think people care about it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like you should ultimately just be doing things because of you.
I want to ask you a question, Kit, and I want to ask MK a question. You were talking about like those 2 minutes of like really just kind of like being like upset and like possibly like kind of hating the world or whatever. What about after those 2 minutes made you just kind of like snap out of it?
What made me snap out of it? Well, first is realizing the tiny or like the lack of consequence of what just happened.
Okay.
Right. The beautiful thing about mutual combat or like a mutual fight is there's no consequences. The only lasting consequences are the ones you put on yourself through one, being bummed about it, or two, the better thing is self-improvement.
Right.
And also the improvement of the person you've agreed to have this mutual combat with.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? So like what's lasting in this moment is like how I'm gonna learn from this experience.
Yeah.
Nobody cares that I just lost. Neither should I. I should like build upon that.
Yeah.
Right? That's like the only thing.
I think you came out of that like way better than when you went in.
Yeah.
Honestly, because like again, this is something that like you're prepared for and going into, and for you to already have that experience, you kind of have an idea of like what's going to be the setting around you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a win in and of itself. So keeping up with proud, and like with MK, like this was like the first experience you had in a situation like this. Do you see yourself like chasing a competition anytime?
I've had like multiple experiences with being on the edge of doing a jiu-jitsu competition, and I had like one time I went to see my shaman Paul, and just like mad prepping. I was like eating steaks with my hands, and I'm like doing a ton of like interesting spiritual stuff, and I was like visualizing, and I was like, I'm a fucking tear this guy's arm off. And then, but also, he's a beautiful man. I was talking about why you're doing it. Like, why do you actually want to do it? Like you said before, like why do you want to just win so that people can be like, oh, you've done it? Or do you want to beat someone up, then go pick a fight in the street? Or is it a bit of both? Or do you want to impress your coach? Like, or do you want to get a belt? There's so many motivating factors, but his thing was just you have to be clear on why you do it. Like, why do you fucking want to do it?
Right.
Would you be craving conflict? You might feel nice, right? I'm angry about something I don't know internally. I'm going to fight Charlie. It would feel way better. So
Shout out to Charlie.
Shout out to Charlie.
Harambe.
So I actually, but competed in so many different ways and so many different levels before, and been super successful. And I've been, I guess, kind of like drunk with ego on all of them, right? Like it was kind of like, oh, it has to be fucking everything. It cannot be. It has to be everything. And when I mean everything, it means championship medal. It means faster than anyone. It means mind games. It means visualizing. It means putting everything forward. Josh said at one point, it just goes, you never really see anybody that doesn't really know about God when they fight, right? They've made their mind up. They're either an atheist or a God. You've made the decision because you can't. In the moment, it's basically everything.
Yeah.
Do I do this? Or do I do that?
Yeah.
You have to basically know who you are, and if you don't, then you lose. So today, adrenaline was fucking sky high. I did a ton of stuff the night before. I actually just visualized movements, but not like winning. Visualizing success, as in getting out of stuff.
Yeah.
80% mine, winning, and then 20% Charlie doing stuff and then getting out. I wrote on a whiteboard that Charlie will tap to my loop choke. I love you, Charlie. Did pull-ups while saying Charlie's name. What's up? And then doing heavy single arm rows while saying "Come here, Charlie" for my college legs. Stuff just makes it entertaining. But the point is, when I actually came to the match, I'm just looking at Charlie. I love Charlie. I see him every Saturday.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, what am I doing? And so the stuff was still there, but it was also more important to see if I can learn from you, because James was in my corner, because it became more about, can I accept coaching and direction? You can be any, if you're a talented athlete, that's awesome. But
Right.
if you're a coachable athlete, ooh,
Yeah.
you're a dangerous fucking man.
Right.
So I wanted to be able to be coachable.
The cool thing about that is like, if you're like coachable athlete, it's like you can kind of step outside of yourself
100%.
and see things from other people's eyes.
Absolutely.
So like I like when I'm out competing, the last 3 tournaments I did, or like the last 3 IBJJFs I did, I was by myself.
So impressive, man.
Like it's like maybe a little bit of madness, but like something that I just wanted to do, and it kind of sucks because like most of the time I'm going up against guys who like live in the state that I'm traveling to. So it's like home field advantage, don't have that. These guys also have a coach, and like whenever I had a coach, it was amazing because like I can take their advice, and it's almost like I'm a video game character, and like it's like they're pressing the button and I'm doing the action, So even though I don't have that, I got to use like the rest of my environment. So maybe not the best thing, but at the same time, something I'm trying to like work with is like listen to their coach, because they're telling him to like go for stuff. And like there was one moment I was going up against a kid, and the coach goes, don't let him get his knees down. It's like, I guess I am going to get my knees down.
Yeah.
And I did, and it actually kind of like worked in my favor for a second. And the kid moved on to like the next thing that he was going to do, which is totally fine. But it's like, how can I step outside of myself and see things from outside, just my perspective, and almost have like a third person point of view, just like this kid has, or try to see things that maybe I can't if I'm looking directly into a mat, because like my head's getting shoved, directly down. But
The thing is, you're not able to see yourself from a third person without knowing yourself from the first person, which I think is what Jiu-Jitsu accelerates, right? It's like, like who are you in these moments? Who are you when there's a 200-pound guy on top of you trying to choke you out? Who are you when you're on someone's back and you can like choke them out? These are equally important questions. And then further extrapolations, who am I when I just received some really bad news? Who am I when I just nailed a job interview? Like who am I when I'm at a bar and some guy's like looking at me weird, So, and if you don't know those things, you start attaching, you start finding it in other things, and then you're saying, oh, who am I? I am a guy who loves shoes. I'm a guy who loves this sports team. I'm a guy who like dresses just only this way. That's who I am. That's how people know me.
right.
That's not like you're not making steps to knowing yourself, which then prevents you from making steps to expand your consciousness, which is not allowing you to see yourself from the outside perspective.
All these like moments, like the big wins, the big losses, the small wins, small losses, things like that. Out in like the world of what we do, all of that is like all kind of condensed and like happened in Jiu-Jitsu also. In the sense of like, we were kind of like just talking about it or like touching on it just now, but like, Jiu-Jitsu is almost like kind of like, at least in the sense of like emotion, or like just human emotion, just like a more filtered version of all of that kind of put together within an hour.
Right.
I can have all these different like obstacles and like problems and all these kind of things that are like running through my head, but and I mention this a lot, but like all of those things don't matter in the moment where I have this guy directly in front of me, and I have to deal with this issue first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And you know, with all that, like, just back in the rear view, you know, it's all kind of just like filtered down to like just dealing with the situation in front of me right now. And then when that's over, come back to the bigger picture and seeing that like none of that really isn't that serious after all.
Yeah.
Because you really just dealt with like 5 different issues at the very least within a 6-minute, 7-minute round.
100%. Is there an artist that lives in your head rent free that you're jealous?
Oh, I'm jealous of. See, I'm actually at the point where
Envious.
I don't want any part of the art world. Where
But what the fuck are we doing this podcast for? We're fighting in front of students right now.
because I am in the process of constructing a better art world.
Okay.
An art world where you don't shuffle around in the gallery and you just whisper to your friend that you don't get this painting because you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or an art world that sees art as a luxury commodity where
Tax break, yeah.
tax breaking, or like putting an abstract expressionist painting in a Chase bank.
Yeah.
Or an art world that wants you to find a style that sells and then repeat it.
Oh, dude, that's
Ad nauseam.
death. That is the death of artists.
Yeah.
You see someone that sells. It could be fantastic oil-based paintings,
Yeah.
and then you repeat it. It's sellable. It's smoked.
I don't want the art world that writes about art in such a way where you need an MFA to understand art, right? The goal is reconstructing, or like not reconstructing, finding a new way to experience art. That's also not that's not what it is now, and also not, oh, come to this painting class where we drink wine and we all paint the same things. But I believe there's a clear need for something new and a better way for people to create and consume art out of enjoyment, because I make art because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm a crazy genius that the world, I mean I could be, but like I'm not actively, I don't actively
For sure.
pursue that, and I don't actively think that people are in need of hearing
Mm-hmm.
my ideas, or people need the privilege to hear my genius idea,
I
my
love it.
genius
I think-
individual idea. Art is building communities.
Mm-hmm.
All my art is community based. We're having a conversation, and we're rolling, or at this moment, in front of a community of people
100%.
representing another community of clockwork Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm in art to build that, not to have my work be on a blank white wall.
So firstly, I'm so glad we're talking. James, you'll get this as well, because I was actually, I do moisturize every day, but I'm a little bit older than you, and I did my masters, and I did live art performance, and I got so jaded. I got so jaded with the level of pretentious, esoteric conversation on top of something, because you could just see something and be like, I think that feels great because it gave me a feeling. A lot of live art is to do with the actual feel of the environment. So you could be like, ooh, that was good, or oh, I don't know, what that made me think. And I just got so jaded, and I didn't like the way that people were talking about it. I didn't like the way people were going, and you ended up becoming like a support band, right? Because you're doing something, you're doing a live thing.
Right.
So then everyone's like, oh, I'm going to hire MK to do this live thing, and he's going to get paid $40, right? But you're like, wait a sec, this is art. I'm getting paid to do art now. And then you do that, okay, and you kind of accept the fact that now your artwork is worth $40. And then Kit's like, hey, come over to my art gallery. And I'm like, my rate's $50 because it's based on someone else's idea of value. And you become like a gig. Like you have to like gig this 3-minute performance around rather than someone else that would just sell it. So I'm so glad that now we're doing this.
Kit's just doing this so he can just play during class.
Mate, you have no idea. That's half my life. And I was like, if I get to do this for a living, it's fantastic.
Exactly. And it's like, alright, you show up to a gallery and you ask the guy, it's like, oh, this is art, I love it, can I buy one?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Can I maybe read about it in a way that will make me like enjoy it more? It's like, no. No, not unless you pay a lot of money. And it's like, oh, okay, can I maybe make it myself and like put it here and show it to other people? It's like, oh, get out of here. No. You know? It's like, so what are we doing, man?
Right.
So I think it's like that, that's where I'm coming from, or like that's where my headspace is at. Where people ask me like, oh, like, so what do you want out of art? What I want out of art is to like own a self-sustaining ranch where like me and my buddies
Come on, are you kidding me?
make art.
That's the goal. Monica?
Yeah,
Oh, she's in the shower. That's the fucking dream.
that's the dream. Own a self-sustaining ranch where we make art, do jiu-jitsu, and pay as little taxes as possible.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
That's the
I'm
goal.
a huge fan of that. And have an ice bath and a sauna.
Absolutely.
Yeah, weed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
dude.
like, this is like what art could give you, man.
I'll take questions.